All right, Mohammed, I think I have a better approach to this. Instead of asking you to do these like from scratch and just build in the whole thing, I think what the best approach is to use the files I gave you. So I sent you a bunch of files, right? And they're labeled by section. So what you'll do is you'll just open them one by one and just edit them. So basically, you'll return this, but it'll be edited to what I need. And what I'll need is you to start with the, like, I want you to make them look like this. Okay, so you can just copy and paste that if you want. That's how we're going to start it. And these are open educational resources, the files I sent you. That's fine to do. And then you'll call this, you don't have to worry about the name of the course, but you'll call this one Unit 1, um, whatever you called that one, it would be a good title. I think it was like Angles and trig, whatever it was, okay? And then the objectives you had, right? You had those and you get those. So you'll use the files I sent. This is that 7.1 document. It probably has everything. Like here we have all math textbooks are really similar, right? So the objectives are probably close. I need these to be your objectives. So I'm just going to copy and paste those. And then I want that to match. I want it to kind of all look the same, right? So, yeah, that's pretty close. I know I'm going to be picky about this stuff, but that's just going to be because I want them to all look the same. So instead of A through F, of course, I would go 1 through 7. You know, that kind of stuff. Get rid of the letters. Anyway, that'll be that. And then objective 1, you can start right away with this. And then a lot of times, like, let's see how well it matches. So the objective is decimal degrees. So first you got to talk about an angle. So that's okay like that. And then these are good images to include. So that's fine. I mean, most of the time it's going to run the same way. And these are great for my guided notes because my students are going to be, I love these like fill in the blanks. And this is kind of what you were doing when you were creating your first one that you sent me. So this would be fine if you could just go through, take that like the files I sent you and just make them match, right? So let's see, decimal degree. So before we get the radians, we're all degrees, and let's see, that's pretty much what it's talking about. And it talks about the quadrants, so that's you can just go with this, and then here you go, converting between degrees and radians. That was one of our yep. So that's objective 2. So you could just make this objective 2. I mean, they're not always going to match. And remember, I need these as like the formatting I'm going to be picking on. So I would go. This should be a heading, right? Where are my headings? Uh, there they are. This is heading 2, like that. And then you can just use this. I mean, you don't even have to change it. You can just make it match my objectives, right? So, and that should save you a lot of time. I know it's like busy work and you're not really writing. And then, so the unit circle's in there, so that's great. So, what I would need you to do, so this is no good, right? Because I need these to be accessible. So, I need a screen reader to be able to read it. So, a lot of these, they just copy and paste the stuff from a textbook. So, you would have to type that in. Find the radian measure of 1/3 of a full rotation, right? And then we don't need that. And then you could just however you're organizing it, example whatever it is, okay? And that way, like when I do the screen reader, when I'm here in review, read aloud. So it needs to be able to read that. It's not going to read that because that's an image. Okay, so that makes it accessible. Now same thing with this, that would have to be typed in. But the images are images. Like this is a great image. That one you can just leave. You just have to type that in. Okay, so if you could just do that, that would be great. So basically take the files that I sent you, and then maybe this file is lacking one of these things. I don't know. Let's see if coterminal's in here. Or maybe it has too much. Oh, this is linear and angular speed, right? That's not even part of this. So area of a sector, like these aren't even part of this objective, so I would just take those out. Okay. And then just make it match. And then if you need to like add a couple examples, like let's say this was missing one of my objectives, like a reference angle or something, you can just add that in. So the objective should go 1 through 7. And then the last thing, so let me summarize this, and then I'll end this video. So the last thing, so one, use the guided notes, I'll call them, that I sent, and they're labeled by chapter. And then 2, I would say copy and paste objectives that I sent you. And then 3, go through the document and make sure each objective is covered, and use as much as the given file that you can. And then this will be some busy work. Make sure file is what we call accessible, all right? And that means the images, any text that's like an image like this, you'd have to type it in. Okay, so just get rid of that and just type that in as a note or as text. These are fine, right? You would just have to do the accessibility part. You have to add view all text and just a real brief description. So circle with fraction. ChatGPT is really good with these. If you want, you can upload this image to ChatGPT and say, give me alt text, I think it's called, and it'll describe that perfectly. Or you can save yourself time and just do a real brief description so it passes that accessibility thing. Circle with fractional piece. Let's see what the AI does. There's built-in AI generated context. Oh, here's what the AI did. A circle with numbers on a line. That's not as good as, well, maybe it is. A circle with fractional piece. I mean, I'm not too worried about that. I just want that to match so it passes the accessibility. Okay. So yeah, so you would type that, you'd make that, add the alt image, you'd have to add the alt text to those, brief description. And then a lot of it you can just kind of leave. There's your unit circle. Yeah, so really it's just, I think if you just, and here's examples are fine. You don't have to give me the solutions because when I give these to my students, I'm going to work them out during class. And the only last thing is I need more application problems. So if you can either replace examples with application or add applications. So let me show you what I mean by that. That is, I want it to be as many applications as possible. Like, this isn't the best example. I mean, when you get into like right triangle trig, you'll have all kinds of applied problems here. Like, I mean, even something like real basic, like when you're converting. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So let's say convert each. So let's say I had, instead of this, I said I include like an application, like the angle on a ramp is measured to be pi over 6 radians. What is the equivalent degree measurement? Uh, okay, and then you can include like a little picture. This you would do equation editor for, and maybe like a little image that you find online where you just have like AI is good for this too, or you can just Google it online. You just do like a ramp, and then you measure this as pi over 6. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So these, I think that's the best approach, because that way it'll save you a lot of time. You won't have to create them from scratch, and then they're all be like similar since you're just taking them from the same source, all the files I gave you. I hope that makes, if you can just open each of these and just make sure they match, and then if it's missing some objectives, you can copy and paste them from other ones. So I hope that makes sense. Um, but yeah, let's go. We'll watch this before we meet, and then we can meet, and you can ask me questions.